It was the kind of autumn night that felt too quiet. The wind barely rustled the trees, the streetlights flickered lazily, and the world outside seemed unnervingly still. I was 7 years old, my sister Emily was 9, and for the first time, our father had left us home alone. "I'll only be gone for 40 minutes, he had said, jingling his car keys. "Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone. And if anything happens, call me right away." We nodded, pretending to be braver than we felt. The moment he left, the house felt different. Bigger. Emptier. The shadows in the corners stretched longer, the silence heavier than before. Emily plopped onto the couch with a book, while I flipped through channels on the TV. The sound of the cartoon felt like a shield, filling the space and keeping the creeping unease at bay. But it didn't last long. The low rumble of an engine made both of us pause. Headlights flashed through the living room window, casting long shadows on the walls. The sound of gravel crunching under heavy tires sent a shiver down my spine. We turned our heads at the same time and saw it. A rusted black pickup truck rolling to a stop in our driveway. At first, we thought it might be Dad coming back early. But then, the doors flew open. 6 figures jumped out of the truck bed, all clad in black hooded sweatshirts, their faces hidden in the dim light. The air outside felt suddenly colder, the kind of cold that prickled against your skin even though the house was warm. One of them, a tall, broad-shouldered man, yanked something from the back of the truck. An axe. The metal gleamed under the streetlight. Another man clutched something long and jagged, its teeth catching the light. A chainsaw. I grabbed Emily's wrist. "We have to hide." But neither of us moved. The 6 figures fanned out. 2 disappeared behind the garage. But one stepped onto the porch. Another lingered by the front door. The remaining 2 crept along the side of the house. "He's on the porch," I whispered, barely able to get the words out. Emily ran to the back window. 2 went behind the garage. The others are at the front door. We were surrounded. A knock echoed through the house. Not a polite knock. A slow, deliberate, heavy knock. My breath caught in my throat. Emily grabbed my arm, her grip like iron. Another knock, this time louder, more impatient. Then the doorknob rattled. Something scratched against the wood, like nails dragging along the surface. The sound sent a sick feeling curling in my stomach. We bolted up the stairs, our socks slipping against the hardwood. As soon as we reached our parents' bedroom, Emily slammed the door shut and locked it. She punched in the panic code on the alarm panel. The security system let out a shrill, piercing wail that cut through the silence like a knife. For a moment, everything stopped. Then came the laughter. It started low, barely a whisper. A deep, guttural chuckle from just beyond the front door. Then more voices joined in, the sound crawling under my skin like spiders. It wasn't normal laughter, it was mocking, twisted. Then something else happened. We heard it, the hum of an engine, not sirens, the truck's engine roaring back to life. The men, they weren't trying to break in. They were waiting for something. Emily grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the closet. "We have to hide." I could barely think. The adrenaline made my head swim. My ears rang with the wail of the alarm, but then something worse happened. The power cut out. Total darkness swallowed the room. The alarm died mid-scream, leaving only the sound of our ragged breathing. Then, from downstairs, a window shattered. Glass rained onto the floor below. A sharp thud followed, then slow, measured footsteps creaking against the wooden floorboards. My chest tightened. Someone was inside. Emily shoved me into the closet and climbed in after me. We pressed our backs against the wall, swallowing our breaths as the footsteps continued. Closer, closer. A dragging sound accompanied the steps, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. The door to our parents' bedroom creaked open. My stomach churned. A pair of footsteps entered the room. Silence. Then, a whisper. "We see you." The closet door rattled. I bit my lip, forcing down a scream. Then sirens, blazing bright, red and blue flashing through the windows. The figures didn't move for a second. Then suddenly footsteps sprinted back toward the broken window. A loud crash. Then silence. We stayed hidden until we heard voices calling our names. It was the police. Emily was the first to move, pulling open the closet door, her hands shaking so hard she could barely turn the knob. We ran downstairs, gasping for air. The front door was wide open, swinging on its hinges. Officers swarmed the yard, flashlights cutting through the darkness. But the men were gone. The police searched the property, but there were no tire tracks, no footprints, no sign of forced entry. Nothing, except for the broken window and the deep gouges in the wooden porch, as if something sharp had been dragged across it. And then we found the note, taped to the front door, scrawled in jagged, uneven letters. Next time, we let ourselves in. The police never found them. To this day, I don't know why they came or what they wanted, but I know one thing for sure. They're still out there, watching. It was supposed to be just another ordinary day. My 11-year-old daughter, Lily, would be home alone for a short time, just 45 minutes at most. I had left for an appointment and my husband Daniel would be home soon. But then I received a text message that turned my world upside down. "Mom, someone's in the house." At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she heard the wind or our cat Muffin knocking something over. But when Lily stopped responding, I felt pure, unfiltered terror. And then I heard something on the call that made my blood run cold. The day had started like any other. I made breakfast, kissed Lily on the forehead, and reassured her about being home alone for a short time. "You'll be okay, sweetie," I said, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "Just lock the door when you get home and call me, all right?" She nodded, rolling her eyes slightly but smiling. "Mom, I'm not a baby." I chuckled, though a strange unease sat in my chest. Fast forward a few hours, and I was pulling out of the driveway, leaving the house behind. I had checked the locks, made sure everything was in place, nothing was out of the ordinary. But 15 minutes later, when I checked my phone at a red light, I saw it. "Lily, Mom, someone is in the house!" My heart stopped. My first instinct was to rationalize. No, no one is in the house. I was just there. It's probably the cat or the laundry shifting in the dryer. I texted her back. "Me. There's no one in the house, honey. You probably just heard something. Check the doors. Are they still locked?" No response. I stared at the screen. The message showed as delivered but not read. I swallowed hard, gripping the steering wheel. Seconds stretched into eternity. My mind was racing now. Why isn't she answering? Another minute passed, then 2, then 3. I called her phone. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Then she answered. But she didn't say anything. Instead, I heard breathing, shallow, erratic. Then, a sound, a door creaking open. "Lily?" I whispered, gripping my phone so hard my knuckles turned white. The only response I got was more breathing, then the sound of a floorboard creaking. I turned my car around, speeding through traffic like a maniac. "Lily, talk to me. What's happening?" Then she finally whispered, her voice barely audible. "Mom, he's upstairs." I slammed the gas pedal to the floor, my heart beating so loudly I could hear it in my ears. "Who? Who's upstairs?" She sobbed quietly. "I don't know, but he's in the bathroom." The bathroom door. The one that was always left ajar, but now it was closed. I wasn't thinking straight anymore. Should I call the police? A neighbor? My husband? No. No time. I needed to get there now. "Sweetie, listen to me," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Go to the kitchen, grab the biggest knife you can find, lock yourself in your room, and push something against the door." I heard her footsteps as she moved. Then she gasped. "What?" I nearly screamed. "The bathroom door. It's open now." My stomach dropped. Something or someone was inside. And now it was moving. I floored it, barely stopping at a red light. Then I heard my daughter's terrified whisper. "Mom, he's coming downstairs." "Lily, run!" I heard her sprinting. I heard the door slam. I heard her sobbing. I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't there. But then the sound changed. A deep voice. "Lily?" The call cut off, and I swerved, nearly crashing into a parked car. I skidded into the driveway, barely stopping before I threw myself out of the car. I burst through the front door, expecting the worst. My hands shook as I grabbed the nearest object, a fireplace poker, and ran up the stairs. Then I saw them. Lily, shaking, pressed against the wall. And standing in front of her was my husband, Daniel. Confused, out of breath, he looked at me like I was the intruder. "What the hell is going on?" he asked. My daughter was sobbing hysterically. "Dad, you weren't supposed to be home," he frowned. "I came home early." My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Daniel. It had been Daniel all along. He had simply come home early, gone straight upstairs to the bathroom where he hadn't heard Lily come in. She had heard the door creak, heard the footsteps, assumed the worst, and in my panic, I had nearly lost my mind. That night, I tried to shake it off. I really did. I told myself it was just a misunderstanding, that we had overreacted. But then, around midnight, Lily came into my room. "Mom," she whispered, "I heard something." I sighed. "Sweetie, it was just your dad. We talked about this." She shook her head. "No, Mom, I heard someone whisper my name." My blood turned to ice. Lily looked at me with wide eyes. "Mom, Dad wasn't home yet." My breath caught in my throat. I sat up, heart hammering. "Lily, when exactly did you hear it?" She hesitated. "Right before I texted you." The room went completely silent, and then, from downstairs, we heard the bathroom door creak open. When I moved into this house 6 months ago, I never imagined I'd be afraid of my own home. It was a small, cozy place, perfect for me and my wife. Everything seemed fine at first, but there was one thing that kept bothering me: the damn laundry room door. At first, I thought it was just absent-mindedness. Maybe I left it open. But soon it became clear this door refused to stay shut. One evening, I walked into the living room and noticed it open again. I frowned. Didn't I close that earlier? I shook my head and shut it, making sure it latched this time. 5 minutes later, I stepped outside to take the trash out. When I returned, the door was wide open again. A chill ran down my spine. I stood there, staring at the dark gap of the open doorway. It led into the laundry room. Nothing special, just a washer, dryer, and a few shelves. But in that moment, the darkness inside felt wrong. I took a deep breath, stepped forward, and shut the door again. This time I pulled it hard. Maybe it just doesn't latch properly? A few hours later, I went to take a shower. The door to my bedroom was open. I liked keeping it that way when my wife wasn't home. When I got out, I reached for my towel and froze. The laundry room door was open again. I hadn't heard it creak open. The house was silent except for the distant hum of the fridge. My heart pounded as I walked toward it. My dog, Max, lay curled on the couch, oblivious. If someone had come in, he would have barked. I told myself there was a draft. That had to be it, right? I slammed the door shut. A week later, my wife left for a business trip. That night, I sat alone on the couch, half watching a late-night horror movie while scrolling through my phone. Max lay at my feet, snoring lightly. Then I heard it, a slow, drawn-out creaking. My stomach dropped. I turned my head toward the laundry room. The door was opening. But this time, I was watching it happen. I held my breath, gripping the couch's armrest. Max's ears perked up, and suddenly he sprang up, barking furiously at the darkened doorway. A cold dread settled over me. I grabbed the TV remote and turned up the volume, hoping, praying it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But Max kept barking, his stance rigid, his teeth bared. I reached for the baseball bat I kept near the couch. "Hello," my voice wavered. I swallowed hard, then stood up. My hand trembled as I gripped the bat tighter. I inched toward the laundry room, heart hammering. The door was fully open now, revealing only darkness. I reached out and flipped the light switch. Nothing. The room was empty. I let out a shaky breath, feeling stupid. Maybe I'd left a window open somewhere? But then, a whisper. Soft. Breathless. Coming from inside the laundry room. I stumbled back, my blood running ice cold. Max growled low, his hackles raised. I didn't imagine that. I knew I didn't. My phone was in my pocket. Hands shaking, I called my wife. The second she answered, I blurted out, "The laundry room door keeps opening. I think someone's in the house." There was a pause. Then she asked, "Is the window open?" I blinked. "What?" "The laundry room. Is the window open?" I stepped closer, still clutching the bat. If my fingers found the window latch, unlocked. The window was slightly open, letting in the cool night air. Suddenly, I felt very, very stupid. My wife sighed. "You know that door doesn't close properly, right? When the front door or window is open, it causes a draft. That's why it keeps opening." I exhaled, shaking my head. Jesus. I thought I was losing my mind. "Close the window. You'll be fine." I did as she said, latching it tight. Then, feeling a mixture of relief and embarrassment, I shut the laundry room door one last time. For a while, everything seemed fine. The door stayed shut. No more creepy openings, no more whispering. Until a month later, I was asleep when something woke me. A noise, faint but insistent. Tap, tap, tap. I sat up, heart pounding. The room was dark, but I could just make out the open bedroom door. I closed that before bed. Then another sound. Creak! My breath hitched. Slowly, I turned my head toward the hallway. My stomach twisted into knots. The laundry room door. It was open. Max stood rigid in the doorway, ears flat, teeth bared. His growl was deep, almost guttural. I had never heard him sound like that before. My body turned ice cold. I shut the window. I locked it. This shouldn't be happening. A new noise made my skin crawl. Breathing. Soft. Ragged. Just beyond the doorway. I reached for my bat. My fingers wrapped around the handle, my knuckles white. Then, a shadow moved. Not a trick of the light. Something moved inside the laundry room. Max barked wildly, lunging forward. The door slammed shut on its own. I leapt out of bed, heart slamming against my ribs. I ran to the door, threw it open. Nothing. But the room was ice cold. I grabbed my phone, flipping on the flashlight. My breath came in short gasps. The window was locked. The door was shut. But the whisper was back, right next to my ear. You shouldn't have closed it. I ran. That night, I didn't sleep. The next morning, I sealed the laundry room door shut. I couldn't explain what happened. I still can't. But every now and then, in the dead of night, I hear it. That slow creaking sound. And I know it's still trying to open. Did I really stop whatever was inside? Or did I just trap it, waiting for the next time I forget to check the window? Because one day, I will. And when I do, it will be waiting.